Hello, it's the Randy Duck and welcome back for another video. And today I've got 3 replays to show you in the brand new Tier 8 Polish Premium Tank Destroyer, the GROM, which was released yesterday and is available in the store for around about 7,000 gold on the basic bundle, which is pretty reasonable for a Tier 8 Premium. But what I'm going to do before, as always with these reviews of the new tanks, before we get into the replays, I'll just briefly go over what this tank is about. So it is the first Polish tank destroyer in the game, and if you've seen this tank on PC, just one important thing to know, it doesn't have the same gun mechanic, which is, if you don't know, basically the PC has a version where if you shoot tanks close to you, you do more damage, and if you shoot tanks far away, you do less damage. So if you're close, you might do 800 damage if they're right next to you. If they're really, really far away, you might only do 200 damage. This doesn't have that mechanic. What it does have is a flat 700 alpha gun with a pretty decent reload and, really good DPM for a Tier 8 tank destroyer. I think I've got with my setup, which you will see shortly, to around about 3,430, which is really nice DPM. It has fantastic concealment. I've got the concealment with this setup to about 241. So when you are in those tier 10 matchmakings and you need to keep your distance, it's really good for that. The gun itself, 700 alpha, like I say, is really, really nice. The gun is a little bit derpy. That's probably the weak point or the balancing point on the tank. The gun is a little bit derpy. And it has doesn't have a turret. It's a turretless tank destroyer. And the yaw limit's only 5.5, so that itself can be a little bit awkward to play. But again, I think that probably helps, just keep the balancing a little bit more. Also, one of the key features of the tank is it has fantastic shell velocity. You've got on your standard APCR rounds, 1,400 shell velocity, which is really nice with 260 penetration. And in your premium APCR rounds, you have 290 penetration, but with 1,600 shell velocity, and you really do feel that, and you do not need to lead your shots very much at all. You've got 80 penetration on your HE rounds for 890 alpha, and you can pen quite a lot of tanks, a lot of RT with that HE round, so it can be very, very good indeed. And you have 7 degrees of gun depression, so you are able to play ridge lines, to some degree to make use of your armour, which your armour in this tank is actually pretty decent. It's got more buffed armour from the PC, so you actually have better armour than the one on the PC, and you can bounce a lot of shots, especially when you are tier 8, and if you're able to hide that lower plate behind some rubble, for example, you can bounce quite a few shots. But obviously when you get into those tier 10 matchmakings and the stuff can pen you could also got that reliable, really decent concealment. I guess one of the other weaknesses it has, though, it has very, very poor view range, and that is a bit of a pain. So you really want to increase your view range as much as you can, and I do notice it a lot more in this tank where you think, oh, I should be able to spot that tank, right? And you just can't. So that's a brief rundown. I appreciate it's a lot of information to take in a short amount of time. So I've got 3 replays to show you. We'll just get onto these replays now. I'll stop rambling and we can see what we can do in this tank. Okay, so here we are for the first replay here, where we are tier 8 matchmaking, 1 artillery in the game, 1 enemy light tank on Ruinberg. And if you want to see the equipment and crew setup I'm running in this tank, you can see that at the bottom of the screen as I speak. One thing I did forget to mention at the start is the mobility of the tank. The mobility is pretty average, I would say. It's not terrible, it's not horrendous. It's got about 40 kilometers an hour top speed. You do get to that top speed, and maintain it fairly nicely. But like I say, the mobility is somewhat lacking, but not terrible and not painful to play. So, on to the first replay. I have the 3 replays, a tier 8 replay, a tier 9 and a tier 10 for the balance of the video. This is more the average game I've had in the tank. So, here is for the first replay here on Ruinberg. Like I say, we can play sort of, as a more of a heavy, in a heavy brawl, because we do have that armour. You see I bounce a shot there, and we get a lovely first shot into that tank destroyer, picking up our first high roll of the game. And yeah, you do really, pick up these shots. You do have to see this aim time is very, very slow. So you do, that is a bit painful and it is derpy. You really do need to let the shots aim in on this tank. So we are just trying to focus out this enemy tank destroyer here. Hopefully we can pick up the kill here, which we do. We do eat a shot in return from the Chrysler K, but it's kind of well worth it to take out a tank destroyer that early, a dangerous tank destroyer that early on the game, picking up our first kill and second pen of damage. Now we're looking for a shot onto this Chrysler K's cupola there, but then an opposite enemy GROM here, and I'm going to try and go through the cupola there, which you can pen, but it's not easy penetration from that angle. Like I say, the GROM, well, it does have some decent armour as well. Not the Cromwell, the GROM, I should say. And at this stage of the game, we just, we've got shots. We thought it's a good position. I should be able to get shots into that heavy tank. Unfortunately, I'm kind of getting pushed by the heavy tank on the left in this defence. I don't think he's doing it on purpose. But I would, I probably would have been able to pen that KV4 there. Unfortunately, that's not the case. And I feel like this heavy tank with me needs to pull back because he's in a real awkward situation. He probably wants to try and get hold down behind that wreck behind us. Unfortunately, that's not the case. He does get taken out. Well, he hasn't got taken out, but he is getting penned there. And yeah, he does eventually get taken out by the GROM there. So I'm going to try and get a shot into his Chrysler K, who is pushing around, and there's a one shot to us. We manage to squeeze that shot in, and we pick up our second kill, putting us on to just shy of 2,000 damage, and still at this stage a very close game. I do swap to the small mini-map here because I just want to know exactly where the small movements of the enemy tanks around us are, but I like to switch between the two for when the situation occurs. I'm going to pull back here because I feel like my team on the right hand side need a bit of help, and I kind of also want to entice the other tanks to cross, which might mean I've got easier shots on them. I don't like battling it out against that enemy Cromwell who had a sort of Cromwell, I keep saying Cromwell, enemy GROM had a sort of superior position than I. So I'm going to try and help our team out. Obviously we are a turretless tank destroyer. If you don't really like turretless TDs, then you're not going to enjoy this tank, but if you do, or you don't mind them, the tank can be a lot of fun. So he's squeezing a lovely shot into that enemy Leo, confirming the kill, trying to get back round now because this enemy 30 does have shots into us, this enemy Thermodan. Just trying to pull back. Our Cruncher takes out a enemy tank there, and again, we're starting to take control of this game now. You can see 12 versus 6. But with that enemy tank destroyer there in front of us, it's kind of awkward for us to progress on that side. He does put a shot into us and puts us onto a one shot to that tank. So I don't really feel confident with this engagement anymore from this angle. And I think I probably need to pull back as much as I'd like to try and get some damage in there. It's just not going to work. So I'm going to try and get another angle, back up slowly so the tank destroyer can't get any shots into me, and see where else we can get into this damage. Like I say, we've pretty much taken control of this game at the moment. Only 5 tanks left. Like I say, this is the more average game I've had in the tank so far. My limited games, I should say, in the tank, because at the point of making this video, I've probably only played about 6 or 7 games because I wanted to get this replay done and out for you, so you can see the tank at the earliest possibility from my channel. So I'm going to pull through and just see what we can do here and get some more damage. There is still quite a lot of hit points left, so we do have an option to get some more damage in, but I need to be quick about it because there's only 4 tanks. That damage is not going to last long. Going to pull forward, just confirm the one shot on this heavy tank. Like I say, do get a pen in. He doesn't really have any hit points for me, but we do at least pick up the 4th kill. The main hit points is probably on this enemy tank destroyer in front of us, this enemy Crom and this other enemy German Ferdinand there. So we're looking for a squeeze in the shot onto that tank. It's awkward. We are one shot, but we do squeeze in a lovely shot onto lower plate, picking up another penetration. 6 penetrations now with 3,000 damage and 4 kills, and only 2 tanks remaining. So can we just squeeze in some last bit of damage here? It's just this one last tank now, which maybe we can pick up a 5th kill if we're lucky. And it looks like it's going to back up for the rubble, and we do squeeze in that shot, and we do pick up the 5th kill. Like I said, this is the average game, and then we've got 2 more games to come, and the next game being at Tier 9 matchmaking. So how do we get on? 5 kills, 3,500 damage, and the 2nd class. Let's move on to replay number 2. Okay, so here we are for the 2nd replay there on Thiepval Ridge. Now, I did tell a little bit of a lie. I thought this was a Tier 9 replay. It's actually a Tier 10. So both the next replays are bottom tier with this tank in Tier 10 matchmaking. So this is a decent map. We've got 1 enemy artillery. I think we've got 2 enemy light tanks. and we're going to try initially just to push across into sort of the middle, like the F5 sort of, area. You'll see when I get there, and see if we can get in a position to cover, I guess, multiple angles and see if we can get any early damage from that location. We do have, like I say, the concealment is really nice on this tank. 241 concealment. Does mean you can be very, very stealthy. Unfortunately, you just really struggle to spot for yourself because of that very poor view range. So you do rely on your team somewhat to give you some targets to spot. Otherwise, you'd have to get pretty close to them in order to spot them. So early doors, like I say, we've got a pretty even spread of our team, I'd like to say, and we just sort of put ourselves in the centre of the both locations until the game really develops, where we can work out if we need to adjust, do we need to push, do we need to fall back. At this stage of the game, we just don't really know exactly what we need to do, so we're just staying patient, knocking down a couple of these trees to give us a little bit more concealment. And we thought maybe we'd get an opportunity to shoot the dreaded Avery here as he crosses, but as that happens, unfortunately I get spotted by an enemy light tank, and I need to pull back now because I am not safe. I'm going to try and get down lower so the enemy team don't have the shots on me, and then try to escape and just get to a little bit of safety here. It's kind of an awkward one for me at the moment, to be honest, in this tank destroyer, especially with the artillery in the game as well. I guess I could have gone and ruled on the left, but like I say, it's tier 10 matchmaking, so I decided to play a bit more as your traditional tank destroyer, I guess. I am still covering the hill from this location. If I poke up high, enemy Manticore does a crazy run. Unfortunately, I missed a shot there, but you do get to see how quick that shell velocity is. The shell velocity is really, really nice, especially in the premium round. 1600 shell velocity is lovely. This enemy Avery, though, is a one-shot to us now, and we squeeze in that shot, picking up our first kill and killing the dreaded Avery from the game. And that's obviously going to help us out. But right now we are losing tanks and starting to lose a little bit of control over the hillside. I'd love to get a nice shot into that Manticore, to be honest, because it's a really dangerous light tank in the sense that he's going to be able to spot us. He's got really good concealment. He's leaving, and this is, as I say, I haven't played this tank at this point. This is probably like my second or third game. The shell velocity was so quick, I should have adjusted better there, and actually I aimed well too far and I led too much. But we may get an opportunity to shoot this enemy Polish heavy tank if he pushes forward, and we do. We squeeze in a nice shot there, and now we're going to try and pull back to safety. So far the enemy artillery is not looking our way, which is nice. That enemy 50 TP, the Polish heavy, does get eliminated, and sort of the score on this map now is evened up to a bit more of a 10 versus 11, so it's still a very, very close game. Going to try and squeeze in a shot into this Manticore. I'm waiting to the last minute so I can really aiming my shell there, and as you can see, with a good shell velocity I easily connect. But it is important to, where you can, try and aim that shell in as much as possible, because it is a little bit derpy, and if you don't, more often than not you will miss the shot. The problem you've got with that sort of 5 degrees of your limit to the left and right, it means you quite often have to adjust, and then you've got that big aim time, and you have to sort of aim again. So that would say it does take a little bit of getting used to, I would say. Now, looking at this stage of the game, I've kind of thought, I think we're going to lose the heavy flank, to my right there, and I'm not too confident we've got the hill either. So I'm thinking I've really got, in this tank, not much choice left to fall back. I think my best thing I can do is fall back to the base where our heavy tank is already at, and then try and cover my tanks, because otherwise I'm going to get caught out from multiple angles. So I kind of think I can't really stop that tank side from falling right now, because then both sides are going to look like they're going to fall. So I am just going to retreat, and I'm really at this stage hoping the Manticore doesn't come around and spot me as I make this climb, because I have gone, I guess I could have gone a safer route, but I've gone the quicker route because I thought time was at the essence, and I want to get into position so I can try and cover my team. Like I said, I do have great concealment. Thankfully our light tank is still in the game, so he's got a good chance of spotting targets for us, but I have now got to the sort of fallen back position. That Manticore has just taken damage and is now on a one-shot. I'd love to be able to take this target out. He gets shut down though by our friendly MDB, and that is very, very helpful. You know, just starting to eliminate the enemy vision a little bit more. And now we do still have our light tank in the game, so hopefully he can try and keep these targets spotted while trying to stay as safe as he can. There was 2 enemy proto tank destroyers sort of coming towards our hill on the right. It was the last low location, so I've kind of got that in the back of my mind, but I can cover both sides from this location. So I'm looking to see if we can get any shots in. I should be able to get some shots as they get a bit closer, because they are going to start pushing towards our base. We are a little bit pincered. We don't really have any map control, but yeah, I'm forced back, but we can still win this game at this stage. It's not all lost. It's just going to be, do they get spotted before they get there? That's what I want. Enemy proto does get spotted on the hill. He's not going to be able to reverse around. Again, you see I'm aiming in a bit slower. I tried to get in as long as I could, and we do manage to connect that shot. Thankfully it goes in, and we pick up our second kill, and just more importantly confirm that tank destroyer. There's his platoon mate, and again we may have an opportunity to get a shot through his turret here, and we do squeeze one in, putting him onto a one shot. He then gets shut down by our friendly artillery, I believe. And now we've got an opportunity to focus more on the left hand side. This enemy T30 is now a one shot. We're waiting for an opportunity to get this shot in. He presents it, and we squeeze in that shot, picking up our 3rd kill of the game. Bring this back to a 5 versus 5 now, and you see our armour there as we're kind of using I guess the slope to increase the armour value. We do bounce a couple of shots there, and we're up to about sort of 1,000 ricochets there. Enemy T28, you see, it's a bit, we don't fully aim that shot. It's derpy, but we do at least track him in place there, and slowing him down, and probably burnt his repair kit. Hopefully this time we can squeeze one in through the lower plate here, but it's awkward. We just go for the drive ball and try to track him so that our other tanks can get some shots in. They do get some shots in, and now he is on a one shot to us. Hopefully we can pick up this kill here if we're lucky. But he gets shut down before we get an opportunity by a friendly tank destroyer, and we're actually taking the lead now on a 5 versus 4. Picked up 3,000 damage, 3 kills. I think about sort of 700 assistance, pretty much mostly by the track assistance there on that track shot. Enemy VZ gets spotted, and then that's that quick shell velocity. You can see there, you just do not need to lead those shells very much, and we take out that tank, bring us to a 5 versus 3. And now I feel it's the opportunity to pull forward and try and get into this game. I know there's an enemy earth shaker around here somewhere. I'm hoping I can get up onto this ridge and get some shots into that earth shaker. I don't really want him to get spotted before I'm in the position to shoot him. Unfortunately, he does get spotted, which I guess is good, but I wanted to be able to get the shot in. And I feel like he's going to take a lot of damage here, and that is what happens. And I guess if I would have stayed up on the ridge, I probably could have got a shot into that tank. But he gets taken out by our machine, and now we're in a 5 versus 2, and we've turned this game right around. I'm kind of heading for the enemy heavy tank, which we know was around this location somewhere. So he's either started to fall back, or but how far could he have got? So I'm thinking this is roughly that was where his last known location was. So I'm heading that way, trying to hunt down this tank and see if we can get another shot of damage. We had a pretty decent game for a bottom tier matchmaking. 4,000 damage, 700 assistance with 3 kills. But I would love to get another shot in or two and bring me closer to that 5,000 mark. So heading this way. At this point, I've no idea where his heavy tank's gone. Maybe he started to fall back towards his base, to maybe where I assume the enemy artillery would be. But as I come around here, I was not expecting the enemy artillery to be behind us, and that was awkward. We bounced our shot because we kind of was under a lot more pressure because of the enemy artillery. He then puts one into us, and now we're in a really awkward situation where we have to back up because enemy artillery can get some shots into us. We can also get taken out by this tank if he fires the double barrel mechanic. So this is kind of awkward. I do have a light tank coming around, but I really wanted to get a big shot into this tank. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case now. Well, not right now. I can't push forward with that artillery being there. The enemy light tank is clipping out this heavy tank though. So if he does take him out, maybe then we can probably at least get a shot into the artillery. I didn't get an opportunity to check how much hit points they have, so maybe I should have been swapping to the HE rounds. But as it stands, when we come up and actually does get spotted, I think, yeah, he has no hit points left, which is a real shame because I would have liked another big shot of damage there. But yeah, that's not to be the case. We do squeeze one in though, getting the last shot of the game with the 4th kill. So yeah, a bit unlucky at the end there. I got caught out a little bit, otherwise I could have got a bit more damage. But we still have a good game, 4,000 damage, 700 assistance, 4 kills. The ace tanker on this top, would be set really high because the tank's just come out, so it'd be set to the highest value, which I think is a Panzerjäger. That'll be a really high requirement. But we do get the first class and a decent game for being bottom tier. Let's move on to the final replay. Okay, so here we are for the final replay then on the Kasserine, again where we are bottom tier, and there is 2 enemy artilleries in this game but no enemy light tanks, which is good obviously, but there's no light tanks, but the 2 artillery could be a bit of an issue. So initially I'm just going to try and push forward to a ridge where I can try and get some shots in and hope that my team maybe push forward and give us some vision, because like I say, we find it difficult to spot for ourselves because the view range is lacking on this tank, and obviously all the tier 10s are going to have better view range anyway, so they're going to be able to spot a little bit further. So initially, as I say, we move across to this sort of ridge. It does look like we've got some support coming with us. I've got a friendly grill here on the left, and already got a medium tank pushed forward a little bit further, which is hopefully will spot the cross. So I'm thinking if he's going to push forward and spot for us, we'll try and move forward and see if we can shoot what he spots and give him some assistance, and also give us a little bit of damage in return. So make our way over. Like I say, the mobility is okay in this tank, but it feels like it could be a little bit quicker, but overall it's not so slow that it's painful. So our medium tank does push across there, and hopefully he's going to give us a bit of information. He does spot a target, so we move forward a little bit further, a little bit more aggressively to see if we can get any shots to this enemy tank. Will get spotted. Had a shot there, but it was never going to hit without being fully aimed, so I decided to be a little bit more patient and see if he gets another opportunity. And then some tanks get detected on the right hand side, and we may be able to squeeze in a shot here. Looking to try and get a shot. I need to wait for him to give us that right opportunity. We don't quite have it there. I don't want to shoot unless I'm going to think I'm going to hit something, just in case I get detected. But we do see an opportunity to shoot potentially this Panzerjäger, and I am going to take this opportunity if he gives it. You see there's quick shell velocity there, lightning shell velocity, squeezing the shot. Because of the good camo, we don't get spotted, and we put that Panzerjäger onto a one shot, which is good. And right now it looks like the majority of our team is kind of all in the one area going down the riverbed and around that location. But I guess we're not under any, with our medium tank at the sort of K2, he is giving us a little bit of vision. But that tank does get taken out. He does spot a lot of tanks this way. I am going to take the opportunity to squeeze in a shot. But this is awkward for me because with those tanks, they're going to outspot me. There was a tier 10 over there. And yeah, I need those tanks detected really. I really need one of our tanks which are all kind of in one location to move forward, because otherwise these tanks, there's about 5 of them which got spotted, they're going to move forward and it's not going to be ideal. So I think I've got no choice here. You see artillery's already looking to shoot us as well. We're no longer in a good position. We don't have enough support. We can't stay there and brawl, because if we do, the enemy artillery is going to have easy shots at us, and it's just not ideal. So I've decided I'm just going to fall back. It's kind of obvious that those tanks are going to try and push us, so I'm trying to let my team know, maybe these 3 tanks on the hill, that they need to probably start to be alert at that, because I would say probably in about 30 seconds a minute these tanks are pushing forward and they're going to be on them and they're going to get shot in the side. So I'm trying to let them know, but obviously we can't, all we can do is sort of ping the area and try and make them alert, but obviously we really need to rely on the team looking at the map. So we're going to try and put ourselves in a position that maybe we can get a shot in as they poke this ridge, and then we could have to fall back again. I could have potentially pulled back further, but I didn't want to completely leave my team. I want to try and get some shots in, because I've only really I've got okay 2 pens in, but I'd like to get a little bit more out of this game. But so far it is still fairly even, and I'm sure these tanks are going to come round, and here you go, they do come round into a location. So maybe I should have pulled back a little bit further, because I would have had better shots at those tanks there. Try and squeeze one into this enemy GROM. He bounces off of us because he hits our gun manlet there and damages our gun manlet. The gun manlet on this tank is where you've probably got your strongest armour, so that's definitely the place you want to avoid shooting, because obviously you've got most chances of bouncing there. So he has damaged our gun, and we're going to try and pull back again, because I think with our tank destroyers being where they are, it doesn't look like they're going to last very long right now. So I was trying to let them know to try and pull back. But I've got to kind of stay, because these tanks are just going to start pushing towards our base and potentially cap us out. Hopefully, our team have kind of won the middle ground. Hopefully they just turn around, because they're not that far away just to turn around and come back and defend the base. So hopefully they realise that, they turn around and don't just continue pushing towards the enemy base, because otherwise we run the risk of getting capped out. So I'm going to try and pull back and defend my friendly artillery, because they're going to probably push our artillery, and maybe I can get some shots in while they're trying to shoot them, and that way just try and defend our base as long as I could, because at the moment it doesn't really look like our team have decided to come back, which I think is a mistake, in all honesty. Really probably want those teams to come back, because there's about sort of 4 tanks heading in this direction. Enemy UDES comes round. See, we have to adjust for the yawn limit there, but thankfully we hit that tank. That's where RMG said, I'm going to give you a bit of help here. And we hit that and set them on fire, putting us on to about 2,700 damage now. We do repair our gun, and enemy artillery get some shots into us. Now, this is not great. The enemy UDES, I guess, is a one-shot to us, but we now have this enemy GROM coming around. Gives us a rear shot though, but we're in a kind of like in a 1v3 pretty much here. But we do have a friendly medium who has come back to help, which is great. But this is a little bit awkward, because you can see the artillery is trying to shoot me, which is making my life very difficult. And I've got the trouble of trying to fight all these tanks in front of us. So I can't really push forward anymore, because the artillery will have easy shots at us. I've got a tank destroyer behind us. I'm really not in a great situation right now. I have swapped to the small mini-map again, because now it's crucial more than ever to know the small movements of the tanks, whether they're going to come behind me or not. I know that tank destroyer is there. Trying to pull back, trying to deal with the artillery shooting at us. This UDES has a shot. Thankfully, he bounces there. We've got to try and pull back. I'm going to try and turn myself now, because I suspect this tank destroyer is going to come behind us. That's exactly what happened. So we kind of turned in just in the nick of time there. He misses his shot. We have the kill now. Like I say, we can shoot the lower plate there, the lower part of the armour, where we're not going to struggle to penetrate. We then turn to the other GROM, who is also a one-shot, but we still have the enemy artillery looking to shoot us. He's not liking us today. We do squeeze in the shot, kill the second GROM. Done a good job of defending this base, but my friendly team, kind of just all went to the other side. You'd like to think they have the advantage over there now. But yeah, I kind of think there's still one tank here left for me to deal with, that enemy Swedish medium tank. So I need to try and find that. He's obviously lost his spot, and I don't know where he is right now. So I can't really. I'm concerned when I leave he's just going to get the rear of me, and then that's probably going to be game over. So I need to be careful. I don't think I mentioned this tank does have a fairly high fire chance, although I haven't been set on fire in it yet. You've got a 20% fire chance, and the engine is at the rear of the tank. So you've got a pretty big engine from the shoot at, but obviously frontally, if you're front on, you're less likely to get set on fire. But I'm now in a 2 versus 6, and I kind of think at this point that there's no point me heading over there. The time I get over to the base, that enemy tank destroyer is going to die. He's severely outnumbered. So I think my best bet at this point is literally just to accept that he's dead. I can't get over there to save him in time. Just not going to be possible. So I'm just going to have to set up to defend the base again, because he does thankfully though at least kill a tank, which is helpful. It kills that enemy UDES, which is nice. Again, I just don't think I would have made it over there. There's a Waffle E100 as well. So I'm going to set up into a position just to defend my base, and then but now I'm thinking, he's just killed another tank, so maybe I should have decided to head over there. That might have been the play, but he does die. And yeah, I'm thinking I'm just going to go up and set into place, because they're going to come and cap. I'm pretty sure they're going to head over there. There is a T95, which is also going to be very slow, and a Waffle E100, but I don't know the hit points at all of that Waffle E100. With his full health, it's going to be awkward. Could pen him with the HE though for more damage. So I've decided to set back and defend my base, and put myself into a position that when they come to attack the base, I'm going to get some shots in. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to fast forward here and wait until we get to a bit more of the action. Okay, as you see, we did wait just to try and hope that the team went in the base. that is what's happened. So now I'm going to try and get the reset. But as that happens, we spot the enemy Waffle 100, who is a one-shot. Now this is great news for us. We should be able to take him out here and waiting patiently to let that shot aim in. And we get that shot in. And now we know there's an enemy artillery in the base. And we're going to swap to the HE round here, because we can pen that HE, pen that artillery, no problem with the HE, and really boost our damage. So we're going to try and head around there. And I'm thinking, right, if I can sneak up on this tank here, this is going to be really good for us, because I'm sure it's the enemy artillery in the cap circle. But then a second tank gets in, and I'm thinking, oh, I hope it's not the Doom Turtle. Unfortunately, it is a Doom Turtle. Now I'm thinking, oh, I wish I didn't have the HE loaded, because I could have got 700 damage there. But that's, you know, I wasn't to know. I was trying to look for the artillery. The other artillery, who's not in the cap circle, is now looking to shoot us. He does get a splash in, putting us onto about 700 hit points left, and makes our life a little bit awkward. So we swap to the APCR rounds again, just in case it's that Doom Turtle there. We've got a better chance of actually penning him. But maybe, I guess if he's frontally on, then it might have been awkward to pen anyway. So I could have used the HE just to guarantee the reset here. But I don't know if I have enough time to kill all at this stage. We've only got 1 minute 30 seconds left. But we're hoping to get a nice big shot into enemy artillery. We do spot the artillery, and we do squeeze in a lovely shot. Would have been lovely to have the HE for us there to get that shot in. Unfortunately for us, the Doom Turtle puts us a shot into us, and now puts us onto a one shot, which means we can't now eat any shots, and it's a little bit awkward for us. But to win this game, yeah, I don't see us winning. I just want to try and get another kill, to be honest. I want to land one other big shot. So I decided to go round and hope that maybe I can either catch the artillery off guard or catch the Doom Turtle off guard to try and squeeze this shot in. But I don't really have enough time on the clock now to get to where I wanted to. The enemy team has now put 2 tanks in the cap circle. And yeah, I'm thinking this game's pretty much done, which is a real shame to end the game that day. But I felt like we did enough. Like I say, we didn't have enough time. We do get killed by the Doom Turtle. We're just trying to get one last shot in to get that reset in. But we do have a good game nonetheless, and we do pick up, what, 3 kills, 5,000 damage, 1 first class and a high caliber whilst being bottom tier. So like I say, we had a good game. It's a shame my team didn't quite come back. I think if they would have come back at the right time, we probably would have standed a good chance of winning that game. But you can't win them all, and that's it for the review. Like I say, I really enjoyed this tank actually. Strong points are, 700 alpha, great DPM, fantastic shell velocity, 7 degrees of gun depression. Negatives are that it's derpy, aim time's poor, mobility is sort of okay, and I guess that's a real key sort of summary, a quick summary if you like, of the tank. So that's all. Thank you for your support, and as always, happy tanking.
Enemy in sight. Hadouken!